Greetings, everyone. DFG here, Gideon's Flight. Hey, guys, just want to take a moment today, and I just want to share with you a concern that it came to my attention, and this was because of a gathering of some very close friends and family members of mine about a week ago. And we just happened to all be sitting out together one evening down in the great city of New Orleans, just having some conversation about life and things that matter to us. But as the conversation progressed, we started talking about different illnesses and different, um, how illness. Let me be correct here. How illness affected us as people of color. And inside of that conversation, we started talking about, what could be the cause of that. What are the major contributors? And inside of that dialogue, we started talking about, are black people more sick than white people? Or again, are black people more ill than white people? And there was some debate about whether or not it was a fact or true or not. And like I tell you, and I told them, the best thing to do in conversations like that is to do your research, to go look into the matter. I did it. But here's one other thing I want to bring from that conversation. Now there were three ladies, myself, and then there was a gentleman inside. Of the five of us, four of that five, and all of us were in the age group from I would say late 40s to early 60s. That group. So we're all within a decade, a little bit more than a decade of each other age-wise. Inside of that group, we had one person who was a double amputee, black. We had one woman that gets weekly or every other day kidney dialysis, blood transfusion. We had another who is just coming off of a major stroke and also dealing with a brain aneurysm. And we had another one who was dealing with stroke and on medication just to regulate her body so that she doesn't have another stroke. Now that's 4 out of 5 people, all so-called black people, you know, you know, so-called, African Americans. As you know, they're Israelites. But okay, that's the last time I'm going to get into that kind of explaining, all right? Because you guys have heard me say that many, many times before. But I thought, how interesting, the 4 of that 5. Now, as you notice, I didn't bring myself into that particular group because by the grace of Yahweh, I am perfectly healthy. I don't have any kind of illness that would limit anything that I choose to do. I work out on a regular basis. I take very good care of myself. And, some of you guys, somebody call me an old coot. Okay, I'll let you call me an old coot. But I'm not an old coot, all right? Age-wise, I might be considered an old coot. But this is what I would say to you that of that group, I pay attention to what I eat, and I exercise on a regular basis. Now, let me get further into the conversation. People say, okay, well, I exercise too. Which one of my brothers exercised, but he is a diabetic, okay? And so you might say, well, I exercise, but I'm still on different medications. I'm still sick. So how do you explain that, DFG? Well, let me give you some facts, okay, to help you better understand what I mean by what I'm saying, okay? Now, first, I'm going to start off with there is a direction from Yahuwah on what Hebrew Israelites, or Israelites who are Hebrew, are supposed to be eating. It's called dietary laws. And I know some of you guys might not want to hear that, but I'm going to tell you, it's there, it's written, it's in the book. Okay, let me show you. You know how I like to do this. All right, that's Leviticus chapter 11. And if you notice right there where I got highlighted that, and the swine, which is a pig, that though he divided the hoof to be cloven footed, yet he chewed the cud, is unclean to you. Of their flesh you should not eat, and of their carcass you shall not touch, for they are unclean to you. Now you saw that, I just read that to you. But, you'll have people come back and say, oh no, that's the Old Testament, because in Romans chapter 14, it says you can eat whatever you want to eat. And as long as you bless it, as long as it's not offered up to idols, and, as long as it doesn't have blood in it. Well, I challenge that. Because if you go to Romans 14 and you look at that, it's talking about herbs and it's talking about meat sacrificed to idols. And there was the debate. Paul was talking in Rome about things that were going on in the city of Corinth. And in Corinth, there was some debate about, okay, I see they're offering up cows to idols, so should we not be eating cow? And Paul was saying, no, if you're eating it of faith, don't worry about it. Just because they're offering up a cow, which is a clean animal, does not make that animal unclean. because he said nothing is unclean unto itself. Now, when you say, okay, what does that mean? Nothing is unclean to itself. Nothing unclean to itself simply means that it's not the fault of the pig that it's a pig. It's not the fault of a vulture or a buzzard that it's a buzzard. It's not the fault of a crawfish because it's a crawfish that makes it unclean. So it's nothing unclean of itself. What it's simply saying is, although it's not unclean of itself, it is not good for you to eat. Okay? And I know they're going to argue that, and I'm not here to debate it. And if you want to put something in the comments, put it in there. But I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not going to respond to you because you're missing the picture. Because if what you're saying is accurate, if you're saying that we can eat anything that we want to eat, then I want you to explain these statistics to me. Now, I Googled this up, guys. And my question was, to the title of this video, are black people more sick than white people? Okay? That's a simple question that I asked. And you can Google it up yourself. Are black people more sick than white people? Here's what I got. Diabetes is 60% more common in black Americans than white Americans. Blacks are up to 2.5 times more likely. 2.5 times more likely to suffer leg amputations, up to 5.6 times more likely to suffer kidney disease than other people with diabetes. Blacks are, okay? African Americans are 3 times more likely to die of asthma than white Americans. Deaths from lung scarring or sclerosis are 16 times more common among blacks than among white. The disease recently killed former NFL star Reggie White, 43 years old. Despite lower tobacco exposure, black men are 50% more likely than white men to get lung cancer. Strokes kill 4 times more 35 to 50-year-old black Americans than white Americans. Blacks have nearly twice the first-time stroke risk of whites. Okay? Let me go on. Blacks develop high blood pressure early in life and with a much higher blood pressure levels than whites. Nearly 42% of black men and more than 45% of black women aged 20 or older have high blood pressure. Then cancer treatment is equally successful for all races, yet black men have a 40% higher cancer death rate, than white men. African American women has a 35% death rate more than white women. Now, if those who want to argue to me that you can eat whatever you want to eat because Yahuwah said that it's blessed, then does Yahweh hate us? Is that what you're telling us? Because we have a dietary law over in Leviticus 11 says what we should be eating and what we should not be eating, clean and unclean foods. Then we have, these so-called preachers, your pastors over on the other side telling you, oh, none of that matters. You can eat whatever you want to eat. Yes, statistically speaking, I have just shared with you how what you're eating, your diet, is killing you disproportionately to any other ethnic group on the planet. So how could it be then? If I could eat anything that I want to eat, if I could eat the same thing someone white is eating, then why is it making me sicker than it's making him? I'm talking about eating the exact same thing. If you can eat the same, if you're a so-called black female, if you can eat the same foods as a white female, why is it making you more sick than it's making her? If the dietary laws were not specifically prescribed for you to keep you strong and to keep you healthy. Explain it. Now, some of you guys might be saying, okay, at least I hope you'll follow me to this point. All right, I hope you follow me to this point. But some of you guys might say, well, I don't know what is an unclean food and what is a clean food. You know me. Well, let me tell you what that is. Clean foods. And again, read Leviticus chapter 11, okay? If this was not important, guys, I can assure you, Yahuwah would not have had Moses, you know what I'm saying, to scribe this in the scripture for our understanding so that we would know how to be healthy and eat to live, okay? It would not be here. If Paul, who is not Yeshua, makes a comment explaining something to a group of people, does not make Paul Yeshua. It does not make Paul Yahuwah. Paul is explaining to them because Paul is an eyewitness to a conflict that they're having in Corinth, and he's discussing it through letters from Rome. That's why it's in Romans talking about Corinthians. Has nothing to do with you can eat whatever you want to eat. Again, if that was the case, then why are disproportionately what we eat killing us to other ethnic groups who are eating the exact same foods? Okay, let me go a little farther. What are clean foods? Clean foods, things that you can eat. Trees bearing seeds, mostly fruits. Anything that grows on a vine. Also seed-bearing plants, such as squash, tomatoes, corn, beans. Field plants like herbs, roots, and leafy vegetables. Clean meat. According to Leviticus, clean meat and the meat is the meat of every animal that has the hoof cloven. And secondly, choose the cut. Examples are ox, cattle, buffalo, sheep, goat, gazelle, antelope, and mountain sheep. Now, what's interesting, what was the dietary or main meat for that our ancestors ate here? Talking about the copper color people, original people here at Turtle Island. What was their main source of meat? Since folks want to say that they did not follow the dietary laws. A lot of them are agrarians, eating a lot of fruit, corn, right? They grew corn all the time. But their main meat was what? The buffalo. Not the pig, the buffalo. You didn't think about that. The buffalo. Where do you think they got that from? And why do you think this country was so plentiful with buffalo if this was not the land of the people of the Most High? Why were buffalo so plentiful here on Turtle Island, which we call today North America? Why were they here so plentiful then? The main meat for us, buffalo, we were eating. It's clean. Now let's go to look at unclean meats, okay? It says unclean foods. Unclean meats, pig, camel, hare, which is a rabbit, or a different type of rabbit, hare, and rock badgers, okay? I don't know what a rock badger is. Look it up. Shellfish, seafood with fins and scales are often chewed, but whatever are often allowed, but whatever doesn't have fins is profit. Talking about crawfish, shrimp, crabs, those things you should not be eating, okay? Catfish, another example of it. All right, again, seafood with fins and scales are allowed, but whatever doesn't have fins is prohibited. Now let's go to exotic birds. All birds that are allowed except for eagles, vultures, kites, raven, ostrich, seagulls, and owls. And then the last, all winged insects are things that we should not be eating. And again, some of you guys may look at that and say, okay, it doesn't matter. Okay, but let me tell you something, guys. You are the sickest nation of people in North America. Black men in North America died 5 years before any other ethnic group. Any other ethnic group. And they died 10 years before women. Black males, so-called black males. So if you don't think this serious, then you know what? Pretty soon a lot of you guys are going to be in situations like a lot of those people I just described at the beginning of these videos, people that I love. Many people that you know. How many people you know that have high blood pressure, diabetes? Be serious, guys. Dealing with asthma. How many people you know? If you want to be honest about it. And then go back and look at what they eat. And put the two together. And some of us are still feeding our babies this same food that's going to put our babies in the same situation that some of you guys are currently dealing with health-wise and your friends, all your friends are dealing with health-wise. Because you will not listen. You reject the truth. Why? Because it's not popular? Why? Because some, European came and told you, you can eat anything you want to eat? Because some of these jackleg preachers and so-called pastors who are getting paid off to lie to you about you can eat anything when you got facts showing that you can't? I read them off to you already. And this is the last thing I'm going to say. A lot of you guys are going into that baby boomer age. You're going to get real sick. And you know what the problem is? 1 out of 4 people in America today are baby boomers. Baby boomer is somebody who was born between 1946 and 1964. 1 out of 4 are baby boomers. And pretty soon that number is going to get even higher. And guess what? There are not enough young people to take care of those people. So you know what's going to end up happening to you, right? There's not going to be anybody to provide that special care, that home care they give. And a lot of you guys are going to be left to die because you refuse to eat to live. I love you. I care about my people. Reason why I shared this. Yahuwah bless you. Talk to you later. DFG, Gideon's Flight. Bye now.